Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to the Video Game Mouse channel. We got me, VGH, and today we're bringing you the full card list that we have thus far from the Palworld TCG, right from the Palworld official card game webpage. Now, you can find this online, just literally official CCG, Palworld, and it's all right there for you guys if you guys want to see it yourselves. This is my first take of what all these cards do, what all these cards are, and I do want to bring out a few things. I will first go over the fact that you can see that there's 3 Mossanda cards here. There is the basic common variant, there's the extended art variant, and then there is the parallel rare variant, which is that full art card. What I've done here is I have put together a full list of only one of each of these. I'm not going to go over every single one of these. Only the cards that are going to be here are going to be the extended art ones, so that way that you can tell there is a little bit of a difference. Some of the structures have a more zoomed in card, so the art is a little bigger, and I can go over that as well as we go on. Obviously, I'm not going to say, hey, let's go over Mossanda, and then Mossanda again, and then Mossanda again. Just as a quick disclaimer to the video, there are multiple different versions of each of these cards. Some only get a common, like Gummos, but others can get up to 3 copies, like Mossanda. So, first things first, we're going to go right into the first card, which is the Soul card. So, we have the card type Soul, which is going to be in every deck. Every deck needs to have at least 10 Souls for their Soul deck. There's going to be different versions of Souls, so you can kind of flare up your deck in your own way as more Soul cards get released. This is just the basic Soul that everyone's going to be starting with, most likely. But it does have the text that during your turn, you may rest 3 Souls once during the main phase to draw 1 card. Now, in all actuality, in the last video where we were going over a lot of the cards, I did forget that the Souls had the ability to give you a draw option, which is really good, because when we were going over a lot of the cards in the early set, there wasn't any way to really draw cards. Only one pal, and I think it was Elphadrin, had the ability to draw 2, take 1 from your hand and put it on the top of your deck. And that was kind of the only draw option we saw. So Souls giving us that tap 3, draw 1, kind of useful. Just something to remember before the game actually does come out. Draw might be the option going forward. So this is one of the newer cards. This is Mossanda, the Guard Captain. Works through the ability of harvesting, crafting, collecting, and transporting. Obviously, these are going to be good for the different structures that you can build for your PAL base, I guess you can call it. So Mossanda is one of those utilization good characters. 5 cost, 900 power with 2 strike. No special effects or anything, but he is very, very good at setting up your base. And of course, his high power does make it very good for him to stick around. In terms of battle, it's going to be hard to take him out unless your opponent is, using a much bigger PAL to take it out. But it'll most likely be good and hidden behind structures that it can probably work with, since it does have harvesting, crafting, collecting, and transporting. Next up, we got Gummos, another green PAL with only 300 power, but it is a 2 cost the 1 strike, double elements only when harvesting, but it does, well, it's a wonderful opening card, but it again has no fantastic abilities and nothing to really write home about. Of course, if you go first, sorry, you start with 2 Souls in your deck. So if you do have a green deck, then this guy can be your good, turn 1 start, 301 strike. So it's okay. I mean, if there isn't better options, it'll work. There is a lot to go over, so I will try to go through this as quickly as possible. There's a lot of cards. I think it's at 78, so we're going to try. I think it's only like maybe 40 to 50 different cards, because there were a lot of duplicates of full arts and extended arts. Next up, we have Floppy the Snack Lover. It's a 3 cost, 400 power. So again, if you're going second, you start with that 1 extra Soul, and then on your Soul phase, you can actually get 2 more Souls. So you can still, going second with a green deck, start with this character, which does have harvesting, crafting, and transporting. It does have an auto on deploy, get 2 berries. Now, in my last video, I actually didn't understand what berries were. Now, I did find out, thanks to the wonderful viewers that we have and the comment section, which I did ask for. The berries aren't the only item that is unique to the game. We have berries, and then we have logs. Now, these 2 items are unique pieces to the game, where you can collect berries as a resource and logs as a resource to work with the rest of your game. Now, we don't understand just yet how those resources work. The rules and the videos that we've seen thus far have not gone over them, so we don't know if it's going to be a resource we have to keep track of, if it's a resource that you can only use, say, once per turn, and then it's all gone, and you have to reallocate every single turn. Say you put this pal on a plantation field, which I believe is one of the ones in the one of the cards that we're going to be coming up upon, to collect 3 berries per turn. You know, you can deploy, get 2 berries. You can put it in the plantation to get 2 more berries, and then you can use those berries to summon another character. So we're entirely unsure whether or not that's how those are going to work, or if it's something we have to be keeping track of. But if anyone does know, once again, please let me know in the comment section below. Next card we have is Dynasum. One of the first pals you actively run into in the game, I think, is Dynasum. I do remember running into my very first Dynasum, level 15 pal, and I was like, this thing is cool, and I'm gonna try and fight it with my level 2 Chickapee, and I'm like, I got this, alright? We can just punch it to death. That did not happen. Anyway, getting over to Dynasum, the Radiant Fragrance. It is a 4-cost 400. This is a turn 2 type card, but it does have quite a bit of text. With the harvesting and collecting work suitability, it does have act and action, interruption, hand from hand, quick effect, 1 soul, discard this card, or discard this card and 1 other card from hand to nullify your opponent's attack, and battle damage does not occur. 4-drop, 4-2 with an interruption. Definitely going to be seeing quite a bit of play in the early stages of the Palworld TCG. Of course, turn 2 is a 4. You get 4 mana on turn 2, obviously, if you went first. So you can go 2 souls, tap all 4 into this guy if you want to play him. But an interrupt is very, very good in this game. Next up, the 6-drop Ectherdeer. Still never sure if I said that right. Terra, the Guardian of Nature. A continuous effect of Taunt, which is a wonderful ability in most games. If your opponent cannot attack other targets if a card with Taunt can be targeted for an attack. So this now becomes a option type thing. If you had 2 Ectherdeers on the board, here's a ruling that we still don't know the answer to because we haven't had a lot of questions on ruling. If I had 2 Ectherdeers, does my opponent get the option to choose, or do I get to choose which Ectherdeer they're targeting? Because if I can choose, it can make it a little bit more difficult. Does have the ability for another action that says consume 2 berries. This card gets 500 extra attack until the end of turn. 6-cost 800 with Taunt that has the ability to get 2 extra, get a 500 attack boost for to 13 is pretty good. A Taunt 13 is very good and can contend with a lot of 6 or lowers. Sometimes I think some of the 7s are 13, so you can probably contend with that. It is an action, though, and I think that actions can only be triggered on your turn. So I would have to collect my 2 berries by playing that last card, the Floppy, get 2 berries, eat the 2 berries with Ectherdeer, and then Ectherdeer can attack for 13. Next, we're going to go over to Bronze Cherry, the Brimming Adoration. A continuous effect of Taunt once again. No bonus effect, but it does have Taunt. A 7-cost 15 with a lucky symbol that has Taunt is crazy work. So far, that is one of the stronger pals that we have. 7-cost is probably fundamentally one of the better types because you can spend 3 to draw 1 and then still be able to play this card. You will be out of souls altogether, but you will still be able to at least draw to try and like recharge, and then this can give you kind of a defensive wall. So it does make things pretty good. I don't know if it states that your opponent can't attack other targets if a card with Taunt can be targeted for an attack. So Bronze Cherry would have to, on my turn, play it and attack with it so it gets rested, and that way when my opponent makes its attack option, Taunt is on. But if it doesn't make an attack option, it doesn't have Taunt active, but I can still make a choice to block. So it does give a little bit of like headway to say like, you know, I'm not forced to block it if I don't want to. Next up, another green, Mamorist, the Roar of the Wilds. An auto effect of when this card is put into the graveyard, get 3 berries. I do like the berry concept, if everyone makes any sense about this. If you use the berry concept, you can intentionally have one of your pals get knocked out in this instance, because you got to remember that you can play things and do things in any order. The only beginning options that are non-passable are the unresting phase, the draw phase, the soul phase, But then playing cards, battling, and using your souls can be done in almost any option, any order. So Mammoth, the Roar of the Wilds could be an 8-drop that can swing for 2,000, and if your opponent knocks it out and you can collect those berries, you can then use those berries on the last pal you saw, Ecthirdir, and then Ecthirdir can make an attack if it survived a round, let's say. So I could start the turn with no berries, attack with Mammoth. Mammoth could get outed by a couple of different action cards and bigger pals, let's say, and then get the berries to boost Ecthirdir and have Ecthirdir attack. It could be a whole mind game, intentionally letting you take out a Mammoth to clear some stuff off the board. Now, here's the Berry Plantation card. This does have a full art, but this is the full art version of it, but it doesn't really extend outside of the card. This one was weird to me, and I'm not sure if this is how they're going to print it. I hope they don't. But the Berry Plantation does have a harvesting, so you must have a harvesting pal on this card that states act once per turn, assign 1 pal, get 3 berries, and draw 1 card. You can rest your standing pal to assign it. Pretty good draw option. It does have 600 power, which means it does have good like protection for early game, and it is only a 1 cost. So I could end up just using a tap for 1 berry plantation and then get a very weak pal out there that just has harvesting, tap and put it in there. So that way I can once per turn get my triple berries and draw a card. So good draw option there. Next up, the Campfire. I love how all the cards are just literally like levels 1 through 10 of like pals that we've seen. Once again, act once per turn, consume 2 berries, and assign a pal. So instead of just tapping a character to bring it over, you have to take 2 berries down. You can gain 1 life, choose all of your pals, and they get plus 1,000 until the end of the turn. All of them. I don't know why it has choose. Maybe targeting has something to do with the game, but choose all of your pals, and they get plus 1,000. That's crazy. So if you do have Floppy, low cost card, and you have Campfire on the board, you can use the Campfire ability to consume the 2 berries that Floppy gives you, assign Floppy to the Campfire, gain a life, so you heal 1, and all of your pals get 1,000. That's a lot for a 3-drop, honestly. I feel like it's kind of niche, and if your opponent can't deal with it, it becomes a problem. The Refined Metal Spear, a 6-drop that just says, rest this card, choose 1 pal, gain plus 900 until the end of turn. So I get it, because so here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. The tools themselves don't have a limit on how many you can hold as of the rules yet. If I was able to play 12 metal spears and I got all 12 metal spears on the board, I can do that. Obviously, there's a limit to how many cards you can play in the deck, and obviously, that would be a very bad deck to play, but I'm just making a super example of it. If I had a bunch of spears, I'd put all of them in, I can play them all, and then one guy could get plus, 9 by 12, and then big damage swing. Just saying. I do think it could be a niche 1-2 tech kind of a thing, where if you have it, it's better. It's like a win more card, really. Stone Blast, a quick effect, meaning you can use it on your opponent's turn. Choose a pal, and it gets plus 500 until the end of the turn, so you do have quick effects from hand, which is really, really neat. Obviously, bigger hand means you have more traps. Stone Blast, a trap, where if your opponent swings into you with a 900 attack, let's say, you can pay 2, and then just put this down. And if your guy has, say, 800, you can boost it to above, and then you would win the fight. Their guy gets knocked out. Maybe their turn is entirely ruined. So cool trap effects are really, really fun to have to play around. Astegon, the Aegis Wyvern of Death. This is the extended art version of the parallel rare, the super parallel rare. I forgot what it's called, from yesterday, or the other video that we showed off. This does state again, choose up to 1 pal, gets minus 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. It's not put in the graveyard if it becomes 0 or less, but it does say that on attack, all pals with 300 or less, put them into the graveyard. It does again say choose, so maybe there will be a thing about targeting where if it's like some different abilities and trap cards like from before do have like a choose effect, there might be stuff that can get around it. Basically from rulings from other games that I've played, there's stuff like that. Next up, we have Hookrates, the embodiment of wisdom. A2 costs 300 with harvesting. I think, therefore I am. That's pretty funny. Nothing crazy about it, but it is our first Dark Pal out of the grass typing, so let's move forward real quick. We got Lazy Punk's extended artwork. The Treasure Bandit of harvesting, crafting, and transporting. It's Texas Auto. When this card is put into the graveyard, your opponent chooses one card from their hand and discards it. Ooh, okay. So we have Grass, which has berries, which you can use to boost characters, it seems. Whereas Dark seems to have a discard mechanic, which is very good because it forces your opponent to lose a lot of material, especially when it's just said when it goes to the graveyard. So like this being a 3-drop 2/1 basically gets itself knocked out. Funny enough. Cognito, the Looming Shadow. Text is continuous effect stealth, cannot be blocked. It just can go face. It can't be blocked, but it can be targeted. So obviously when you get the attack, it will guarantee a swing and it will guarantee 2 strikes. So your opponent will have to mill 2. So it could be a closer, or you can just be really cheeky with it and try and use a whole bunch of them and just kind of keep going in for damage. And if your opponent just can't clear them, it's pretty funny. The Incineram's extended art, the Lurking Stalker. Having kindling, crafting, collecting, transporting. Being a dark and fire type does allow it to be into 2 different decks, but it does have, well, nothing. It is a base 5 cost 900, just like Mossanda, actually. Just a lot of work suitability, but it's a base 500, base 5 cost 900 with 2 strike. Mossanda, I think, is the exact same thing, except doesn't have Kill No. Next, we have Blaze Howl Noct, the Dark Flame Defender. An interrupt card, which is pretty damning, actually. A 6-drop, 900, and... Okay, so it's the same stats as Incineram, but it has an interrupt effect, which is just significantly better. It does have Kindling and Collecting. We have a Fellbat card. This is an extended artwork. It is very difficult to see that it goes over the border, but just barely does it. Fellbat, which looks like it's not even like a game character. It looks more like an anime character. Love this card. The Lifestealer Fellbat has a continuous stealth effect. Again, can't be blocked. This is a 7-drop, 1000 power with 3 strike that just cannot be blocked. And it also has an ability that on attack gain a life. So this has a very stealthy way of playing where your opponent has to react to your plays. And it also has Lucky. This thing is crazy. I love that card. The Hanging Trap, which is a 2-drop 900 in terms of power, is very good. Durability, I think it's called. Again, one turn action says assign 1 pal. If there are no pals exiled by this card in the exile zone, I thought it was a graveyard. Choose 1 pal and exile it. You can rest your standing pal to assign it. There are no pals exiled by this card in the exile zone. Oh, this might have a separate zone for itself. Okay. Full disclosure. I don't have all the answers yet, but as soon as I find them, I will be creating many a video to at least explain them very quickly. This one states that there's no pals exiled by this card in the exile zone. Choose a pal and exile it. You can rest your standing pal to assign it. And it also says, when this card leaves the base, deploy the pal exiled by this card into the owner's base in a rested state. So, you are able to use this card as a 2-drop exile. So you have to put a guy in it, trigger its ability, take one of your opponent's pals, and capture it. And then your opponent has to find a way to deal 900 damage to destroy this thing, so that way they can get their pal back. It does also state you can choose 1 pal. It doesn't say it can't be your own. So realistically, you could say use a big pal on your side to attack, and you expect your opponent to try and attack it to knock it out. You could technically use the Hanging Trap to pick up your own pal in a way. Because if it's exiled, I don't believe that it would be on the field, so your opponent can't target it. So they would have to remove the Hanging Trap to remove the pal, because then the pal would come back in a rested state. So you can protect one of your own pals, I guess, with it. It's a weird way of doing it, but it does have a niche clause that you might be able to use it for. Next, we have the Cognito Hat. Action, rest this card, choose a pal, plus 200, and in the... What? And the skill in brackets until the end of turn. Continuous stealth. Oh. Huh. There's a 4-cost gear that gives somebody plus 200, also stealth, meaning your opponent cannot block it. So summon Big Dark Dude, give him stealth, and then punch your opponent for like 4 strike. Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Medical Supplies says choose a 8 cost or less pal from your graveyard and deploy it in the rested state. I mean, I guess it's technically good because you are able to still, since again, magical 7 cost, you can still pay 3 souls, draw 1, and use Medical Supplies to summon a pal. I guess you could play a taunt character if you're playing like blue, grass, green, and purple. You could be playing, say, 8 or less. You can bring out Astagon, or you can bring out like Ecthirdir, which has taunt, stuff like that, to bring out defensive pieces. Maybe. Joltog, shocking, yet innocent. Now we're over to the red cards. The electric typing here is just a work suitability electricity. 2 cost, 300. Seems like a lot of the different types of pals out here have a 2 cost 300. That's just the beginning pal for starter, early game stuff. Kelpsy, I think this one was the full art one. I can't, or extended art. I can't quite tell. Again, this is a 3 cost 500. No abilities, just has kindling farming. Nothing special, but again, fire deck, definitely able to use it so that way you can have the ability to go second. Kelpsy can come out as a good wall for early game. This is the extended art Arsox, which is a 5 cost 800 with kindling collecting. And this is where we get into the other material good. Auto on deploy, get 2 wood. So we now have another one besides just berries. Grass is using berries, and it looks as though fire, along with probably some other types, could use logs for boosting. Malsanda Lux does state the Vanguard, Malsanda Lux is the Vanguard captain, specifically. 6 cost 1100, pretty good. Electricity, crafting, collecting, transporting. Malsanda, very good at doing a lot of things. Consuming 2 logs, this card gets plus 500 until the end of your turn. So it is a 6 cost, that is 1100 as a starting point, but if you played something like Arsox and you have 2 logs, you are then able to discard those 2 logs or remove them, consume them, however you want to say it, to boost this character to a 1600. 16 is very good for a 6-drop. It can contend with a lot of 7-drops that we've seen thus far. So 16, pretty solid, and again, we don't know how important the logs are really going to be. This is my boy Blazemut. I love Blazemut, the Molten Sovereign. In game, he was my fire type. Work suitability of kindling and collecting. On auto deploy, choose 1 pal and deal 1000 damage. Is an 8-drop 1600. By the way, that Malsanda we just saw is 11, but can boost himself to 1600. It's a 6-drop. This is an 8-drop that has the same power. I think it has 1 more strike than Malsanda, but still. It does have Lucky, which does make it significantly better, obviously, for defending yourself. You don't really need him to be able to play things, but dealing 1000 damage is pretty good, especially in Fire, where I think there's a couple of cards that just do damage. Now we're over into the structure of the Stone Pit with the work suitability, collecting. Action 1 turn, assign 1 pal, get 3 wood, draw 1 card, very similar to the other Berry Plantation, which was, again, assign 1. You can draw 1 card, get 3 berries. And I think the difference between that one and this one isn't too much. I think they were almost exactly the same, except one just uses fire, and one's in the red deck and one's in the green deck. Now, here's the 3-drop, the weapons workbench for the red cards, using a work suitability of crafting with action 1 turn. Once per turn, you can consume 1 wood to assign 1 pal. Choose up to 1 pal and deal 800 damage. Choose all of your pals, and they get +1 strike until the end of the turn. Golly, okay. 1100 suitability. Okay, so it's a 3 cost, which is one thing, but all of your pals get +1 strike, making the red deck very much aggro, like a lot of different games. Red is usually the voice of punch. I like the voice of punch. We'll see how that goes exactly, though. Ignis Breath, this is one of the cards I was talking about. It's a quick effect that says choose a pal and deal 500. So if you team that up with something, because it is a 2-drop, if you deal that with the other fire card that was an 8-drop just a moment ago, you are able to play that, deal 1000, Ignis Breath, deal 500. So you're poking 15 while still summoning a 1600 power pal with a high level of strike. So you are able to clear things off with fire types very easily as well. We did go over this one before in the other video, but I will say it again. Harvesting, collecting, Ephaldrin, Aqua, Gentle Ripples. An auto on deploy says draw 2, choose one from hand, and put it on the top of your deck. Now, this does combo off with a couple of other cards that we still technically haven't seen, and I don't think Chillet's in here either, but there was a card in our very first video for Palworld for Chillet, which does state that it flips the top card of your deck upon getting played. If it's a dragon of 8 cost or less, you can play it for free, so you are able to put Elphadrin Aqua as a combo piece where you can go Elphadrin, because I think the Chillet is a 4 cost. Play Elphadrin first, play Chillet, which allows you to look at the top card, and then your top card could just happen to be, since this is a water and so is Chillet, you can have your other type being dark in your deck, and have Astagon on the top of the deck, which once it gets played, you can minus 1,000 from one of your opponent's pals, so you've just equally gotten out 18 soul cost of pals on your board in one singular move. Very strong, probably end of game play. But I wanted to at least bring that up because there are combos that you guys should know about before the game does begin, and it may help you decide what type of deck you want to run. Joltog Christ. Stoic, yet innocent. Just has cooling, which we haven't really seen too many cooling things yet, so that's definitely unique. 2-drop, 3. Again, I think every deck does have a 2-drop 3, it seems, so far, along with, you know, Kativa, Chikepi, Lamball, all those are 2-drop 3s, or I think 3-drops 3s, potentially. This is the extended art Pangolin. There are 2 Pangolins that we've seen. There was a basic one where these cards are... Actually, the penguins are actually moved much further back. But this one has harvesting, crafting, cooling, and transporting. And it just is a 3-cost 5. Simply put, your Joltog is if you go first, and Pangolin is if you go second. That's just how simple the scaling will be. This one was actually hysterical to me. My wife did see this one, and she just goes, why does this one look like it's trying to just chase you in a forest? Hangyu Christ, the Frigid Wanderer, having harvesting, crafting, cooling, and transporting. An auto effect that on deployment you choose a pal that is 3 or less and force it to rest. A 4-cost 6-drop that allows you to target one of your opponent's pals and rest it. Now, this can be used to make Hangyu get a free attack off, so he can target one of your opponent's weaker pals and take it out. You know, if it's unrested, he can force the rest and then attack it so it doesn't get in the way. Or, later game, he can use it to taunt certain thing, or to remove bigger pals from getting in the way of maybe shadow strikes, or stealth strikes, or bigger strikes from your pals to try and go for game. The Raindrix with Icy Gaze states interrupt. Oh, I didn't realize that. All right, so 5 cost 6 isn't super great. It's one of those cards you can put down if you really need to, but it's better used as a interrupt card. So you can discard him and one other card, or pay 1 cost, and you can nullify the opponent's attack. Very strong, obviously, for the water types needing a disrupt, so good that we have it. This was my water type, or one of them anyway. Suzaku Aqua, 7-drop lucky with 12 power. It kind of balances itself because it has the lucky effect, but it does say vigilance. At the end of your turn, stand this card. So I do like that a lot. Yes, he is a little bit weaker. There are cards you can use to buff. You can build a deck with another type that can give a buff to Suzaku, but he's able to attack and turn unrest himself, and then you're able to use him as a blocker, which again, if you build it with, say, a debuff deck like Fire, you can use a minus 500 from your hand if your opponent tries to attack, and then Suzaku Aqua can block, and then possibly go for a trade rather than going for a block. So it does a lot of work, and it covers a lot of bases. It may be also in that magical number of 7, so you can still pay 3, draw 1, and play Suzaku in the same turn. Using up all your mana isn't great, but you can also make that decision because hand disruption cards state you can discard 1 card and this card to disrupt instead of playing the mana necessary, which is the souls necessary, which is usually just 1 tap, discard the card, or you can discard 1 from hand. So you can actually, if you already have enough in hand and you already have a disrupt and a piece of garbage that you can throw away, you can always get the extra draw. Very useful. 8. The Mamorous Christ, the Roar of the Tundra. The other Mamorist is 8 cost 2,000. This is 8 cost 17, but it has a continuous effect. This card gets plus 200 for each of your structures. So this card, with just 2 structures on the board, can outpower the other Mamorist. But it also says that you can discard 1 structure from your hand and gets plus 1 strike. Boy, this thing can hit for so much. You can build an entire structure-based deck, so your entire board can just be structures, and then Mamorist, big chonker, swings in for 3 strike base. Discard 1 structure from a hand, it gets plus 1 until the end of the turn. It does say action, but it doesn't have that once per turn symbol next to it. Potentially meaning you could discard 5 structures and go big swing for 8. If it's unblocked, it could just be a big finisher card. Just a thought. Next up, we have the Antique Wooden Chair. I have no idea why they just decided to choose this as the water type chair, but okay. 1200 durability with a 2 cost is pretty good. And it does say on deploy, choose a pal, and it gets plus 1000 until the end of the turn. It is just a structure, and it only has a once on deploy effect. So, I guess, cool. It doesn't do much. It just gives a plus 1000. I mean, 2 cost plus 1000 is not bad. But you can't assign something to this structure. It doesn't have the ability to assign. It just kind of does something. So, I mean, plus 1000 is good, I guess. We are coming down to the last few cards here, so bear with me. We are at the Primitive Workbench for Water, stating a 3 cost 1100 action. Once per turn, assign 1 pal, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a 6 or less structure or a gear, you can deploy it. If you did not deploy it, you can add that card to your hand. You can rest the standing pal to assign it. Once again, this works off of Elphadrin. Elphadrin being a 6-drop, and this being a 3-drop, you actually do have a leftover for hand disrupt, essentially. So you are able to now use Elphadrin to draw 2, place 1 on the top, Primitive Workbench, action, assign a pal, reveal the top card, and if it's a 6 or less structure or a gear, maybe say you're using a grass deck with that spear from earlier, you can freely play the spear. Now your Elphadrin has a plus 900, so it's able to swing very strong, very suddenly. So for 9 mana, you can go Elphadrin, Primitive Workbench, and then get a free 6-drop for a 15 mana swing turn. Combos are crazy. The single shot sphere launcher says auto on deploy, draw a card. It's a 3-drop that just says draw a card. But you can also, since it's a gear, rest this card, choose a pal, and it gets plus 200. So this is awesome. We haven't seen anything that can remove gear, or there's no durability for gear to get it destroyed after a certain amount of uses. Once you get this on the board, it's kind of there. A 3-drop that just says draw a card is not bad. And a plus 200, it might be the make or break between taking a pal out and not taking a pal out. So, do I think it'll be crazy and like super important that it's in every deck? Not exactly, but the free draw is pretty nice. Like, you can either pay 3 souls and draw 1 card, or you can pay 3 souls, summon the gun, and draw 1 card. So, I mean, it kind of does the same thing. You just get a plus 200. Next up is the Crystal Breath. This is another event card that is for blue. Says, choose a pal. It gets minus 3 strike until the end of the turn. That card does not stand during your opponent's next phase. So that's kind of crazy, where you can use this to counter one of your opponent's strikes. So instead of a disrupt, it's just a minus 3. Minus 3 is pretty good, because that's most things. Most things don't go past 4. So this can basically stop any attack, and then that pal becomes locked. So instead of they have to pass their turn when it's over, because the card stays rested. And then your turn comes, you can attack it, you can choose to damage it if you want. And then your opponent goes, and it doesn't come back, then it's your turn again, you have another option to attack it, and then finally they can unstand it. I don't know the interaction between this card and, say, Suzaku Aqua, who does have the ability that end of the turn, you stand the card. Because this does say that that card does not stand during your opponent's next stand phase, but it's not your opponent's next stand phase when it can activate its ability to stand. So, ruling-wise, I think Suzaku Aqua would stand itself. Next up, we have, or actually last up, we have Ribunny the Little Princess. But it does say auto when this card is put into the graveyard, get a block of wood. Cool. It is a colorless, so you can put it into any deck. So you can, obviously, it makes the most amount of sense to go into a red deck, because red deck does use some blocks of wood as a resource, but not, like, it's not make or break, just a 2-drop 2 that just has the ability to gain a block of wood. That's all it's got. I mean, it's good for, obviously, harvesting, crafting, and transporting, which does go into a lot of decks, so, I mean, it's not terrible to assign to a structure, so I guess it'll be useful, and it's just adorable. Now, I will say, there was a recent event for the demo event. I believe it was in the Philippines, and somebody on Twitter did post a picture of some cards that are not on this card list, so this might be a exclusive first, where they will show off some really cool things at the events and the shows that we don't get to see on Twitter or on their normal channels. So we do have these cards right here, which I did find on the official Palworld card game. You can see posted down at the corner here. There are some pals. We have Jormuntide, which we, again, did not see. We have a full art and an extended art. I don't quite know if there's a difference here, because in the card list that we saw a base common and some extended artwork, and we saw the arts that kind of reminisced of these cards, where it is a totally, or sorry, this one and this one, the Suzaku Fire and the Jormuntide Ignis, and then you had the parallels, which I assume this is the extended type of artwork, and then this is the special parallel rare of the same card. It still has the same amount of damage, same strike, same cost. It still has the lucky symbol. Similar text. I can't really see that tiny, but it does have similar text, it seems. And these cards look incredible. Every one of the cards on this page are red, but we don't know if there are other cards. Looks like we do have one of the Pal Tamers from one of the bosses that uses the Electric Pal, who the name is escaping me from right now. My apologies. A lot of these are just characters from before. This is the upgraded shotgun. This is the harness, I think, for Foxparks. I'm pretty sure it's Foxparks' harness. This is a structure, but it's a full art structure parallel, because it's got that holographic, just like this one, like these four, actually. But again, I have no idea what any of these say. I just wanted to make sure that it was at least shown that these cards do exist, and that it is possible that it's coming out in the first set alongside all of the cards you've seen today. Yes, the video is a little bit long. I do hope that you guys did enjoy it. I do apologize if you're not interested in the long-form video content of going over a list or a whole set, but I wanted to at least let you guys know about the cards, and tell me what you guys think. Tell me what deck kind of, like, you feel will work the best, you know? Out of the cards you've seen, what do you think's the best? We got the berry option with the grass typing. We have the aggressive option with the fire typing. We still got some control with the blue or the ice or water typing, I guess you can say. So we have a lot of different options and playstyles. What is your favorite playstyle? Let me know in the comments section below. Maybe what card are you most looking forward to? Maybe there's a card that you saw that has a base art that you're looking forward to hopefully getting one of these incredible arts for, the parallels. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed.